Morning. I'm continuing this little series I'm doing here on my lifting journey. I enjoy listening to other people's stories about how they got started lifting, who inspired them, what inspired them, what kind of training they followed, challenges that they've had, experiences that they've had. So, trying to do that here myself. I've been lifting since 1982 when I was in 10th grade to gain weight for football and ended up competing in powerlifting. And now it's 2024, 57, still at it. So trying to chronicle everything here. So before I graduated high school, I did a touch and go 400 bench press. And after high school, I got my bench up to about 460. Touch and go, did a triple with 430. And I was wanting to compete in powerlifting. And I went to this new gym, and there was a former local powerlifter. We didn't know him, but we knew of him. And he came in the gym, and he saw me bench pressing. He said, "Hey, do you ever think about competing in powerlifting?" And I told him, "Yeah, I want to compete in powerlifting." He said, "Okay, I'm going to talk to Omar." And so Omar he competed in bodybuilding before, but Omar Lombo was a national 198 Masters champion, USPF, and then later when I started training with them, he became the national and world Masters 220 pound USPF champion. Back in those days, there's three main organizations: the APF, USPF, ADFPA. So, uh, so he invited me to start training with them. This guy that recruited me, the local power, he had done 725 for a triple in the squat in the gym, and I think he had a 744 was his best in a meet. So I started training with these guys, and I remember someone told me when I went to that gym, the owner of the gym, they said, the owner of that gym, man, that guy's really strong. He can bench like 580. And, most of what you hear in lifting is usually exaggerated or a lie or just a rumor. And, I thought for sure, 580. Back in those days, 600 was a really great bench press. So I asked this powerlifter guy. I knew he would know. I said, hey, I said it real skeptical. I said, hey, they told me this guy here has like a 580 bench. And he goes, yeah, he does. So I said, oh wow, so it must be true. Anyway, the owner of that gym ended up benching 625 officially. The bar was actually really misloaded to 635. I saw the bar myself. And when the world record was by Jeff Magruder at that weight was 642. This guy was like a few pounds off the best, and he really didn't even train it nearly as hard as he could. But anyway, so that's the kind of atmosphere this was. Whatever, these guys are all enhanced, and so I started training with them, and they got me wearing a knee wraps and putting on a squat suit. It was the old school squat suit, single ply. First time I wore that, so I felt like I just sat down and it shot me right out of the bottom. Previous to that, I'd worn the knee wraps, just regular, standard training knee wraps, and same experience. I felt like I just went down in the squat, and those things just shot me right out of the bottom. So, but objectively, realistically speaking, I would have to say that the knee wraps gave you about 50 pounds, the competition wraps, and then somebody wraps you, gives you about 50 pounds, at least for me. And the old school single ply squat suits would give you about 50 pounds. So whatever your squat was, the knee wraps and the old school single ply squat suit, take about 100 pounds off of that, and that would be about what your raw squat would be. So anyway, so plan to compete. It was around April 1987, March. I think it was April, but April 1987. Tampa, Florida, Region 4 USPF meet. I was still a teenager. I just wanted to compete, get a total in, and really compare, care, what meet I competed in or what organization, whether I won or not. So go there to the meet, and the guy that Eddie with the 725 triple squat, 744 to meet, he was kind of handling me, wrapping my knees and coaching me, doing all the hands-on stuff. And okay, you got to wrap your knees. You got about a minute. You got to be ready. You're in the hole. And this is my first meet. So I go out there, open at 590. I triple 590 in the gym. I was always a really, deep squatter. You know, pretty much try to do everything right. I would train like I would always train like it was a meet. I don't want any technicalities, lose a lift. So 590 opener, smooth and easy. Okay, so we go to 628. 628, second attempt, smooth and easy. I remember him wrapping my knees, telling me, the third attempt you were going for 644, just 16 pounds more in your last attempt. So I had a 590 triple in training. This was about 50 pounds more. So, and it was, smooth and easy. So 644, 3 good lifts, all 9, 9 white lights, 3 white lights on every lift. Squats out of the way, the most, technical, the most equipment, the most stressful lift of the meet. So I'm moving along, good. Move to the bench. In those days, some people were wearing single ply bench shirts. Not everybody wore them, but people wore them. I didn't wear one, so my bench was raw. Bench was my best lift at the time. I was 19, about 260 pounds. I weighed about 250 when I started training with these guys. I just figured I would just eat as much as I wanted and lift as much weight as I could. So I weighed in at the meet about 260. So open up at 407, smooth and easy. Second attempt, 429, which, should be a smooth second attempt. Still room to spare, something in the tank for a third attempt. So I go to 429. And I remember, I'm rushing, it's my first meet. I'm a little nervous, I don't want to get timed out. Which probably wouldn't any rush get timed out, but, I was in a hurry. I want to do everything right. So I get on the bar there and I grip, I take my grip, and I remember put my right wrist back just a little bit. I remember when I grab my left hand and take the hand off, just thinking that my left hand was not really a little bit slightly back as it should be. My wrist was pretty much straight up and down. So I bring it down my chest, pause. The judge gives me the press, so I pressing all the way. I get my lift almost all the way to lockout. My left wrist went forward, my right wrist went forward, and I dropped the weight 429 pounds from arm's length onto my chest. Happened so fast, if you blinked, you'd have missed it. And nothing the spotters could do. The audience gasped, the spotters gasped. They peeled the weight off of me. They peeled me off the bench. They asked me, was it all right? Is everything okay? I was in a lot of pain. I didn't know how bad I hurt myself, how bad I was hurt, but it sure hurt. I didn't know if any serious damage was done or not. But after a while, they said, hey, do you want to try the third attempt? I said, well, I don't know. And so this other guy that trained with us, that came with us, all the guys I trained with came. There was 4 of them. We all went together. They all went there to support me and encourage me. And just a big guy from Georgia, Cal, 275er, tough guy, good guy though, really good guy. He said, there's another way you can look at this. He goes, you can look at this like you're a wounded wild animal, like in survival mode. You just channel all that, and attack. So I said, yeah. So I said, I really worked hard for this meet. I trained hard. I don't want to let it get away from me. So I'm not going to finish this meet. So I took my third attempt, 429, took it down for the pause. I was a little bit nervous, a little bit uncomfortable, in a lot of pain, still able to do it. Got the up smooth, easy. Probably had a little bit in the tank, maybe 10 pounds. So I got that. So got a 644 squat, 429 bench. Going into deadlifts. Deadlift later on became my best lift, but at this time it was probably my worst lift. It was very uncomfortable. 260 pounds, getting in that position, conventional deadlift. My stomach was really big. I hate to say it, ashamed to say, but back at that time I had to kind of like, hold my breath to bend over and tie my shoes. So made my 573, excuse me. Pretty good, good lift, about like I thought it would be. Went to 601, made it. So got a 600, a little over 600 deadlift my first meet. And then I went to 611, missed it. I don't think I got it to lock. I may have got it to my knees or a little bit off the floor. I don't remember. So I had a really good first meet, except for, dropping to 429 on my chest. I was in a lot of pain. Sternum hurt. These guys kept making jokes, making me laugh, making jokes all the way back, making me laughing, trying not to laugh all the way back. It's a great experience. And so it's a great experience to compete. A lot of people, I think they want to get to a certain level before they compete. Thinking about competing, I would recommend you just compete. It's a great experience. Try to get an official total. And, it's one thing to have a set a PR where in your own environment, you can, manipulate all the variables to your best advantage. Another thing in a meet, putting everything together in a meet, different equipment, and you might feel great, you might not feel so good, doing all the lifts in one day, getting that official total, getting something to shoot for and improve upon. Great thing about lifting and powerlifting is you compete against yourself. I always felt like if I get first place in a meet but I don't beat anybody, it doesn't mean anything to me. But I could lift against a world champion or national ranked lifters and get last place. But if I get personal best and I lift the best of my ability, then I'd be very happy. So I recommend you try to compete. It's a great experience to compete. It's a little bit different nowadays. Nowadays you can put all your lifts on social media and everybody can judge them and critique them and see if it's legitimate or not. Would that pass in a meet? Back in those days, really nothing was official unless you did it in a meet. I still kind of think that way, and I kind of think, if you're going to call yourself a power lifter, have the title of a power lifter, you should compete in a powerlifting meet. Of course, so once you compete in a powerlifting meet, no matter how far away you've been from powerlifting, how many years it's been since you competed, how you train, how different your goals are now, you'll always be a power lifter. But anyway, it's a great experience, and thank you for listening, and I wish you all the best in your training. Have a good day.